Dacha How, Washa Michael Larson, Washa Neiman Depungyu. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson from BBC IML, and this is A Moment with Mike. I hope everybody had a super fantastic 4th of July yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very much. Cookout during the day and some great fireworks last night. I know there's a lot of fireworks displays around the country that were shut down because of the COVID-19. I hope found some way to celebrate the national holiday, though. But at any rate, just want to talk a little bit about a couple of things today. One is my journey on being online with my business and some of the things that I've learned today. And one of them is your ability to attract is your greatest asset in any business, but especially online, being able to attract people to come to your page. And this is a new world for me, so I'm learning every day on it. And I've learned a lot in the last 3 to 4 months. But one of the biggest things that I've learned recently is, and maybe this isn't new to some of you, but the power of the hashtags. And I always knew that there was power of hashtags, but I didn't know there was lots of nuances within that. First of all, there's lots of hashtags out there. And if you're going to create interest in you, I was struggling with this because, I was putting out this material and putting it out every day like I should. And my fans were growing on Facebook and Instagram, but not quite as fast as I really thought they should. And then I learned a pretty good lesson. So I looked around for reasons for how to make that happen. And of course, Facebook Live is something I do every day, and then I put that on YouTube and I put it on Instagram. And they always recommend that you have at least 5 to 7 posts per day, which sometimes I got to admit, I forget to do all 5 to 7 of them, but I try to do as much as I can. And it's increasing, but not as rapidly as I hoped it would. So I was a little frustrated by that. So I went looking for reasons or looking for answers to that. And I watched a pretty good video this week where they talked about hashtags and how you have to have a variety of hashtags, and this woman suggested up to 4 different categories of hashtags. And you want to have a hashtag that's really popular, so there's lots of people on it. But the problem with being on a popular one, sometimes you get lost in the muddle because everybody wants to be on that. And then you want to look for some that are kind of middle of the road popularity. Somewhere, the most important popular ones are going to be over 1 million viewers, sometimes much more than that. The next one you want to be somewhere in the 100,000s with your hashtag. And you want to have multiple ones. And then I learned that you want to have small ones too, ones that you're the lead one in it. But she also said, and I think I had a little bit of an issue with this, because I had some of my posts that were being labeled as spam. And I was wondering, well, how in the heck could that be labeled as spam? Well, the reason was I was using the same hashtag over and over again. I didn't realize that there's an algorithm in both Facebook and Instagram that labels you as spam if you keep using the same hashtag over and over again. So as the latest lesson I learned, and I guess it's hashtag rules or whatever, hashtag laws or whatever, but the algorithms are funny things. If you could figure out algorithms, you can do a lot of things, but they're changing them constantly. They're always trying, they've got a business too. They're trying to grow like we are, but that's what I learned about hashtags. And then I always ask at the end of the day, I want you guys to send your ideas about things that I can go over, ideas I can go over in my live Facebook. I'll come up with my own ideas, but I'd like to see what my fans would like to see out there also. And one of the ones they came up with yesterday is I did some information. First of all, talked about how we are so lucky to be born in this country. We won the lottery when that happened. And I firmly believe that. We can do anything in this country, anything we put our minds to, and we're all totally resourced. So we're capable of achieving anything we want. they wanted to see more about, I talked about health, I talked about acids and that type of stuff, how destructive they are to the body. And it's our own eating that causes this issues with the acids. So, but she wanted to know what I eat to keep that from happening. So I'll go into that a little bit today. But every morning when I get up, the first thing I do is I have fruit. And the reason I do that is because it helps you get your digestive system moving. So I want to have fruit every morning. I will drink water right away in the morning, and what I'll put is lemon in there. And if I feel I need a little bit of energy, the fruit I'll have would be an apple. Apple will give you energy. So that's the first thing I do is I have fruit in the morning, and that gets the digestive system going. And you don't want to have fruit with anything else. You want to eat fruit 15 minutes before you eat anything else, or a half an hour after you eat anything else. The reason being is that when it's in your stomach and it's being digested with other things, it ferments in your stomach, and that creates acid. And we talked about acid last night, that acid, when it gets into the body, your body will retain fluids and fat to protect your cells from the acid because they're destructive to your cells. And when you get fat and fluid in your body like that, then there's something called stem fluid. Stem fluid is flowing throughout your body. And stem fluid takes toxins from your cells to the bloodstream, so the bloodstream can get it out of your body. So it's important. When you have too much fluid and too much fat in your body, your stem fluids aren't operating the way they should, and your toxins build up in your body, and that's how we get sick. So eating properly and eating fruit and making sure you don't have acids in your body is how you keep that from happening. So after I have fruit, I'll actually have breakfast, and I like to have proteins right after my fruit, like eggs and sausage. And sometimes, I know I said you don't like to eat, you shouldn't eat proteins and carbs together because that turns into acid, but I'll have an egg in a frame. And then for lunch, usually lunch is my big meal. I try to eat my big meal at lunch, and always I try to have proteins and vegetables for lunch. So I'll have fish and a salad and some frozen vegetables, or not frozen, some raw vegetables. And raw vegetables are much better for you than cooked vegetables. When you overcook vegetables, they turn to carbs, and you lose a lot of your nutrition. So if I'm going to have a stir fry, maybe a chicken stir fry, then I just flash steam the vegetables. So I cook my chicken up first with all the ingredients that I want, all of the flavors that I want, and make sure that gets into the chicken itself, and onions. I'll cook the onions up with them to get that flavor into the chicken, and then I'll put all my spices in and everything. And then I'll let that cook real good, and then I'll add some water and bring it to a boil, and I'll put my vegetables in over the top of it and just flash steam the vegetables for like 2 minutes. You can tell broccoli when you do that, because broccoli will turn green when it's gotten flash steamed. And that's what I'll have for lunch. Or I'll have fish and vegetables or something, just proteins and vegetables, and make sure I get a good filling. And then in the evening, if I'm going to have carbs, that's usually when I have carbs, I'll have vegetables and baked potato. You can have vegetables with carbs, and you can have vegetables with protein, but you don't want to have carbs and vegetables together. So that's the way my meals go during the day. And then I make sure I drink plenty of water. You got to have water. And a good rule of thumb on water is for every pound of body weight, you should drink a half an ounce of water a day. I know that sounds like a lot. And when you first start doing that, you'll wind up going to the bathroom quite a bit. But your body needs that to clean itself. Your body is made up of 70% fluid. You have to be replacing it, and you have to be eating water-based foods also. And you don't want to cook them. We have cheat days though also. You want to be able to give yourself at least one cheat day a week. If what you're doing is a lot of working out, a lot of lifting, a lot of carbs, then you might want to go to 2 cheat days a week, because what I found when I was just on 1 cheat day a week, it wasn't enough. And my body stopped producing a muscle building, the natural steroids of your body, the muscle building, because it thinks that you're trying to shrink by not eating the right foods, and you tricks your mind. So you give it a couple of cheat days a week, and then you'll get the right mix in your body. and you build muscle, but you don't gain the fat. And then, like I said about last night also, is exercising properly. You want to exercise so you're breathing and your heart rate is up, but you're not breathing so hard that you can't speak for at least the first 20 minutes. After that, you can step it up and you can go hard at it, but then you want to stop easily too. And that teaches your body to burn fats because it believes you need long-term energy then. You trick your body. If you go fast into it, then it'll burn sugars because it needs instant energy, and then you create acids. Even protein, when you're burning protein, if you don't give yourself long enough to start to burn the fats, protein is short-term also. And you don't really want to burn the protein in your body because that's what your muscles need. So start off slow. Make sure that you just get your heart rate up a little bit, and you're breathing hard, but not hard enough that you can't talk. And do that for the first 20 minutes, and then you can hit it hard after that because now you've taught your body to burn fats. And then you actually have to give your body some fats, some good fats. And there's lots of different ways to do that. Coconut oil is a good way to do that. Actually butter. Butter isn't that bad for you, except you don't want to have an overabundance of butter. It's better for you actually than oleo, in my opinion. But milk and dairy actually has AA proteins in them. And AA proteins are what your body uses to drive its your immune system. So if you give your body too many AA proteins, you overdo your immune system, and that is how we get autoimmune deficiencies. And your dairy will become a mucus in your body also, and that does the same thing as retaining water and fats to protect against acid. It'll stop your stem fluids from moving. And another good rule of thumb, if you feel to keep your body healthy, plenty of sleep, eat the right foods like we've talked about, but also do some breathing exercises every day. You can actually move the stem fluids within your body to help get rid of the toxins that you're looking for. So 2 to 3 times a day. Well, exercise is good. When you get to breathing hard, that's moving your stem cells. But if you don't have an opportunity to exercise, you should, a couple of times a day, take 20 deep breaths. Bring it in 5 seconds, hold it for about 15 seconds, and let it out for 5 seconds. You might even get you want to sit down the first few times you do that. You might even get a little lightheaded when you do that. But what that does is it makes your stem fluids drive, and it takes toxins into your bloodstream. So lots of different tips, lots of things that I've learned. I really rarely get sick. I just do. When I get sick is when I go for a few days of eating the wrong foods. You ever wonder why the flu virus seems to happen right after the holidays? It's because we eat all these terrible foods over the holidays. I'm not saying don't eat them at all, but do it in moderation. Take one day and have your cheat day, but then eat well the rest of the days. If you eat it every day for a while, it's not good for your body, and your body has to purge it, and that's how we get sick. Being sick is actually your body purging because you haven't eaten properly for a few days, or you haven't exercised. You're not getting rid of those toxins the way you should. So your body all of a sudden says, well, we got to get rid of these toxins, and we call it the flu. So at any rate, just some information that one of my listeners wanted to get some more information about how to eat, what to eat, and why. And so some good information there. If there's other things that you guys would like me to talk about, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk about them. But we will get together every night at 7 o'clock. I hope this finds you well tonight. I hope this is good information. If you like the information here, join me every night. The sky's the limit on what type of information I'll go over. But I'm always going to talk about my business also and the things I'm doing. Because I love to watch other podcasts of other people that do stuff, and it's good information to learn how they're going through all the trials and tribulations and learning from them. That's how we learn. We should be living our lives on the edge of frustration. I know that sounds funny, but that's where we learn the most, is when we're challenging ourselves constantly and learning. So I will share that every day at the 7 o'clock. But if you guys have a message you'd like me to go over, please email them to me at mike@inspiredmotivatedleadership.com, or you can message me or send me a message right when on the lives. And I appreciate everybody being here. Susan, I see Alejandra and Suzanne Chavez and David Meyer and Louise Malecha. I hope I'm not murdering those names too much, but I enjoy you being here. I hope this was a good message. Have a super fantastic evening, and we will talk soon.